If all things are correct, the galaxy is now ours and we can travel through it. Hi, all. Welcome to Actual Play, Autumn of the Ancients, made by Jen Martin, who's here with us, and Adam Robichaud. I'm playing with the amazing folks, and I'm gonna say your name and then just like say hi and maybe a little bit, and then we'll go to the next person, and then we'll start in the game. So I'm playing with Jen, who was one of the creators of the game. Hey, Jen.
Yay. Hi, I'm Jen. I am going to cough a lot this time, and I'm sorry about that, but that's fine.
It's all good. And also with Jamal or Mad J Brown.
Hello.
And finally with Banana Chan.
Hi.
Yay. So yeah, so this is going to be a mini series game. We're going to play it until we reach its end. So that might be 2, 3, 4 sessions. We'll see how it goes. And sorry for getting started late tonight. That was totally my bad. But I'm super excited about this game. So Autumn of the Ancients is a collaborative storytelling game where we play a group of spacefarers accompanying an ancient alien being known only as the Liminal. The journey will place us in the company of alien creatures, cultures, fantastic vistas, and force us to make difficult decisions about who our characters are, how they relate, and how the journey will change them. Autumn of the Ancients is played in with groups from 2 to 4 players, which we have 4. It's gonna be great, and in 2+ hours time. But we're gonna try to get to the end, so we're gonna do probably several 2+ hour sessions. We'll be doing this game with 1 break in the middle, and we'll be posting it on YouTube at youtube.com/c/actualplay. And we'll have all the links for all that stuff. So Jen, how do we play this game? What do we do first?
So what we do to play this game is, first of all, we can sort of create our characters. So we're going to pick a role, which is 1 out of 3 options associated with a location. So this is shamelessly stolen from Fall of Magic. This whole game is shamelessly stolen from Fall of Magic, because Fall of Magic is amazing, and I just wanted to play it in a different setting. So we will choose roles and locations that we're from, and then names, and then the really important part is we will talk about like who is the Liminal, because that is specifically something that we did not put forth in the game text. Like, I've had games where the Liminal was a sentient coral who was in the process of bleaching as we were, traveling. I've seen it be like an AI that traveled in between different robot bodies. So we get to define a Liminal, but we should make our characters first.
Cool. And I think if we look at the top of the map, that gives us some instructions on that. Cool.
Yep.
So we're going to start an alpha station, but first I'm going to zoom in to the top of the map where it has all the character creation stuff.
Sean, I have a character in mind, if nobody minds me going first. That way I can sort of lay it out. I think unless somebody else wants the location, I think I'm going to be the gatekeeper of the Oriet Federation.
That sounds super rad. So yes,
yeah, right.
That.
And I think my character's name is Callisto.
Cool. So just for people watching, and also for me, or for the rest of us, how did you pick those things? I'm looking at the little list of choose a name, choose a role, and oh nope, hold on, we just lost a.
Oh no.
We just lost a J.
We did.
Mm-hmm. Well, I apologize, everyone. Banana's image is now cut off, half in one panel, half in another, because OBS is not friendly like that. It's like, no, I'm going to do that place where. So
like, no, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
This was intentional.
So let's see. Yeah. Yes, user clone. We have 2 half bananas. We have a left side of the face and a right. There we go. If you just lean to the left of your camera, there you go. You're perfect.
Am I
Now
good?
we just have
Okay.
now it looks like this is exactly how we intended it. It's just black space.
Okay.
Oh my god, that's amazing. User clone is Joseph, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Hi, Joseph.
Hey, Joseph. Thanks for joining us. I'm gonna go ahead and send Jay the Zoom link again. I think he has it, but just in case, there's the link again. Oh, that's not the link. This is some good.
Good internet TV right here.
Yeah, this is the best. This is
It really is.
This is high-end stuff right here. I am serious about my streaming here. Why don't... Oh, whoops. I just sort of put the... Maybe that wasn't a good place to put this. Hey, let's do it that way. Just realized I put the link in chat for everybody.
In the Roll20.
Which, you know...
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, anybody wants to join the actual play Zoom? Stand in for Jay. Just kidding. Yeah. So, why don't you tell us how you?
How I made a character?
Yeah. Where you picked those things from?
So on the super ginormous, beautiful map that we made, on the upper left corner is the sort of intro text, and then there is a list of names, and then you choose a role. So I picked, they're divided into groups by like location. So you could be the assistant or the apparatus or the guardian of Alpha Station. You could be the Indigene, the doctor, or the colonist of Liberty's Landing. So I just picked Gatekeeper of Oriat Federation because that sounded super cool to me.
Yeah, I think that sounds pretty rad. Got it. So we have 5 sort of things we can pick from. Banana, do you want to choose a role?
And like you don't have to define like what things mean right now. Like Gatekeeper like implies some things, but I very much don't know where that's going.
Yeah, right. I assume all these roles we just sort of define and play like they.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
All
like
right.
Exile of the Capital.
Nice.
I like it. And I presume that only one person can be from each location, right? Like there can't also be a sergeant of the Capitol. Okay.
Right. I mean that's the idea.
Yeah, I'm totally going with you, Joseph. I want it. I'm gonna go with the specimen of Eco Station 1. That's great.
Ooh.
That's super good. Specimens are always fun to play. All right, we are back with Jay.
Sorry about that. I had a fuse get thrown. I just moved into this place.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yikes. That's always the worst when you're like, I can do nothing because my computer's down. I just have to wait.
Well, what happens is the router's in the living room, and that whole room went dark. And
okay. Oh no.
Yeah, everything else was fine. So I'm sitting here, and everyone else is frozen in their little windows, and I'm like, "What's going on?
What are you guys doing?"
Yeah, what's happening? So, but I'm back. Sorry about that.
No worries. No worries. All right. So Jay, we decided to just keep going a little bit. So we've each picked a location and a role in that location. And Jen and Banana, you want to say what yours were again, so Jay knows who we are?
Sure. I am going to play the Gatekeeper of the Oriat Federation.
And I'm going to play the Exile of the Capital.
And I'm going to be the specimen of Echo Station 1, which leaves you Liberty's Landing and Alpha Station. You see where the roles are up at the top of Roll20, where in the little.
I do. I think I'm going to go with Ori, the apparatus of Alpha Station.
Nice.
Ori, the apparatus of Alpha Station. Awesome. And Jen, we should probably pick one of these little tokens to represent our
Yes.
characters, right?
You should do that
So
thing.
I think all of you should have access to click on any one of these tokens. Just double click on it, honestly, and then under name, type in a name, and then click on the little show nameplate. And just like the liminal, it will.
I don't think I can edit names.
You don't think you can edit names? Oh, good. All right.
Sorry.
Well, then I failed. Jen, which of these icons would you like?
I want to defer because I want other people to pick.
That sounds great. Jay, since you picked all the other things last, which of these icons would you like?
I like the one with the cogwheels.
There we go. And Ori is spelled O-R-I. Okay.
Yes.
So let's see if I can do this right. Ori, show nameplate, and controlled by all players is what I thought. Okay. All right. How about you, Banana?
I like the jellyfish one.
Is that the
Blue one.
blue one? Okay.
Yeah, I think they're jellyfish.
They are.
That sounds good to me. And Banana, what is your character's name?
Nebo.
Nevo. N-E-B-O. N-E-B-O. Okay. As I'm doing these, I'm specifically giving each of them all player access. So now, as I modify them, you should all be able to move them around and whatnot. I think this is like strands of hair, and it's kind of like focusing that much on strands of hair both kind of squicks me out and fascinates me. So I'm going to take that one.
Cool.
And I'm going to play Kamala.
Nice.
Kamala.
Cool.
All right, Jen. Now you have to make choices.
I'm gonna take the red one, and my character's name is Callisto.
Is it okay that we have two characters' names with a very similar hard k sound? We won't. We'll Kamala and Callisto
I think
mix
so.
anyone up.
I think so because I think that we can call me Callie.
Oh, nice. All right. Is Callisto Callisto?
Callisto.
So close. Okay. Show nameplate shared by all players. Cool. Oh no, you wanted the red one. I clicked on the
Yeah,
red
but that's okay. I can keep this one.
one. No, give me the.
It looks like I can't actually pick it up for whatever that's worth now.
Yeah. Well, as I'm modifying them, I'm also making sure that all players have access. I thought I did that before. I must have just done that to the liminal. Let me check the liminal. Yes, all players have access. Okay, so now we all have
Cool.
powers to we all have the ability to modify these icons. You shouldn't have the ability to move the map, and that's because if you accidentally move the map, it's a nightmarish. So I don't think we should need it. But should we place all of our little tokens near Alpha Station?
Yeah.
Okay. This is good TV because what's happening is as we move them down, the focus is not on in the right place, but I'll fix that. We'll scroll this down. Excellent. There's about to be a noise really quick because someone's entering the house, but no worries. Cool. So we all have our characters. Should we define anything more about them yet, or are we now on to defining what the liminal is?
I think we don't have to define it right now, but think about your character's species, and what they look like, and maybe a little bit about the area that they're from. I encourage you to not play humans because we're all humans in real life, so that's boring. But I think we should talk about the liminal and what they look like.
That sounds good. Is this setting This setting seems like it's I mean, it seems like it's very open, but that its inclination is to be more sci-fi and less space opera. Does that sound right? Or is it kind of like anything in space goes?
I think it's anything in space goes, and I've seen playtests kind of go in different directions.
Cool. Before we get too far into the actual play, haha, I've got a pun there. Actual play. Oh, I have the wrong overlay. I have the Wobbegong Cruise overlay. Well, everyone, excuse me for that. I'm going to fix that right now. But before we go into that, should we talk a little bit just real quick about safety tools and what we want to use, if any content comes up in the game that is not something that everybody is comfy with? There we go, fixed. So I'm a fan, although X cards are kind of hard to. X cards don't work great on Twitch because there's not a physical card. I'm a fan of the script of Bree Sheldon's script change, which is like all the kind of tools people would use in when filming, like when watching something, like pause, rewind, fast forward. Pause is like, let's stop and not do that. Rewind is like, let's go back and not have that ever have happened. And fast forward is, let's skip over that. It's kind of like a mixture of X card and lines of mails. But if X card is more comfortable, we can also just say X card, or like I'm totally open. I just sort of thought we'd throw a couple of those out there before we got started. Does anyone have preferences? Take that.
Pull a script change. I think it's
everybody's yeah. And the most important part is that we sitting around this virtual table. We all love and respect each other and want each other to have fun. So it doesn't matter if we say the wrong word for I don't like that. If we don't like something, we'll cut it out because it's the spirit of it that matters. Cool. All right. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the liminal, right?
Yeah.
You said that you've had some you've seen lots of different things. Do you want to tell us things that it's been so we like don't do them, or do you want to just like have us just see what we come up with?
All I want to say is that we're on this journey with the liminal. Ancient technology is dying. We know that. We are journeying to the center of the universe, to the birthplace of ancient technology. That's what we know.
I like it.
Whatever you guys want the liminal to look like, I'm cool with. I like leaving it super open-ended, so it gets to be like really weird and not like, because I feel like the Magus in Fall of Magic is very often just like the Magus. He's the magician dude.
Yeah, he's Gandalf,
and, right? Yeah. And with the liminal, it's like, I don't know, there's some weird alien person thing. I don't know, maybe it's like a hive mind.
Right. It doesn't have to be Space Gandalf.
Like a Portuguese man of war.
Right.
I like the idea that the liminal is a ship, like a living like a living ship that we could be actually traveling on or beside or around. And that it doesn't like, maybe it doesn't communicate verbally. We either have to like communicate with it telepathically, or we have to like interface with the controls, or that there's like something about it that is not like intuitive. But since we're in space and we're traveling through the stars, like the spaceships are like such a fundamental part of space stories that I'd love to have it be a ship, if that sounds cool to people.
Yeah, cool.
No, I like that.
Cool. Any preferences about its like kind of general look? Like it could be very like organic looking, or it could also like totally just look like Enterprise D, except for it's sentient. Right. I'm cool kind of however, but
can it have like a chameleon shell that changes colors and textures and junk?
Totally.
Awesome.
What do you think? Should it be made out of like metal or like some organic Kamala. I kind of feel like an organic thing would be cool, but also it's the start of technology. I could see it being technological itself as well.
Could be either or. Could be both. We don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, it's got
open.
this chameleon hull. We
Yeah.
can't tell. Cool. Should we be flying in it? I think that would be neat. I'd like to be flying unless the way like locations and positioning ourselves mean that we need to be able to travel independently of it. I kind of imagine we might, like when we're going from framing scenes in different locations.
There's a few locations that are like on planets as opposed to in space or in space stations.
Yeah.
So my suggestion would be, you know, if we want the liminal to be a spaceship, then we should fictionally find a way to get them to like project their consciousness in a robot body on the planet's surface, so that we can still have the liminal on the surface.
Cool. Awesome. Then let's fly around in the liminal and it can like project itself as needed.
Sweet.
I dig it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I feel like if that's the case, if it's doing projection, then to me it feels like it's a very technological thing. Like we might not know what it's exactly made of, but it's hard edges and it's spacey feeling.
Maybe like kind of crystalline.
Ooh, yeah.
I like that.
Feeling like Fortress of Solitude, like spires sticking out, and like you just put like a pink crystal into a thing, and it like that means something, right? That like lights up. It's all fiber optic and stuff, and the way it's lit up.
And then when we go to the planet's surface, like you're carrying around an actual crystal.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Perfect. It's crystalline. That's great. I love that.
Awesome.
That's so good. Nice. So we know the liminal is the ship, and that's what it's called, right? Everybody calls it the liminal. That isn't like a weird
the liminal. Yep.
Term. Awesome. What else do we need to know?
So we should talk about our characters and what like species they are, and sort of what do the other characters see when they meet us. And then maybe establish a little bit about what we might know about the other characters, if anything, because we kind of just, we'll start in Alpha Station, and we can already have sort of met each other, or we don't have to.
Oh, there goes my dog. Sorry, everybody. There was a dog on the show the whole time, and you didn't know about it because he was on the lap, and he was just like, "I'm out."
Aww.
Sorry, we didn't get to see him.
I have a cat next to me, but I don't want to pick her up and wake her up just to introduce her to the internet. So
it's okay. It can happen. It can happen another time. Well, since we're all from different places. I assume that like all of our roles are that different places. I would be totally cool with like just showing up and having this responsibility and not necessarily knowing each other that well.
Yeah.
I mean, as the specimen of Echo Station 01, I don't know that this was...
You probably weren't given a lot of information.
Like, I don't think this was entirely voluntary. It was like, here you go. I think Kamala is a gene spliced being that is something of a Frankenstein creature of multiple xenomorph races. They have multiple alien races from different planets, and was an attempt to she is an attempt to cure a horrible disease that plagues everybody on one planet by grafting them with the DNA of another. So it's not a like torture chamber horror sort of thing. It's like, how do we keep this entire alien species from dying out? We graft their DNA with someone else, and that's horribly dangerous, and who knows? And so she is the first specimen that has survived, I guess.
Nice.
this grafting process, and so she has this. I think her physical attributes are going to be kind of bizarre in that they're like literally like parts transplanted. So I'm not exactly sure yet, but that's what I thought of when I think of specimen, is like this like Dutch apple farmers like mixing apple trees, except for with people.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
like
amazing. I love that.
remove the unhealthy strain. Yeah. And I think that maybe her reason for going on this is that there's like an immunity to this disease that is required along the way, or they expect that we'll have to pass through this space, and so somebody will need to be immune to this disease, and she is the first one known to be immune to this disease.
Yeah.
Not everybody on board has to. Maybe just like one person has to like put the crystal in the liminal, and that would affect. Like there's some point in the journey.
Mhm.
One thing that would have to be done by somebody who would not contract this disease, and since she's been genetically modified to be immune to it, that's why she's sort of been offered up as like, here you go.
So you're on loan from the research facility.
Exactly.
Nice.
Feels totally non-consensual, but also like, good. And I like the idea of having like a very queer, like undefined like body.
Yeah.
So, or not undefined. I will define it, but not one that's normative necessarily. What about you, Banana? What are you thinking for your character?
So I'm thinking Nebo. He snuck on the ship, and he's trying to get back to his own planet under a different name, because he's been exiled from the capital. So I'm thinking, I'm not sure why he's been exiled just yet, but he's trying to get back to see his family.
Do you think he was exiled for something he actually did, or was he framed for something else?
Oh, maybe something that he was framed for. That'd be
Cool.
interesting.
So that gives you sort of like the redemption story of like proving that or the possibility of redemption, like proving your innocence along the way.
Right, yeah. And I'm thinking he's like this humanoid frog thing,
Cool. That's
like a
awesome.
tree frog, but with like
Nice.
humanoid.
So like bipedal tree frog, like
Yeah.
stands erect, but
Yeah.
Nice.
super cool. And is Nebo his assumed name then? Is that the name that he's going by, or is that his real name and he's going by something else?
I think that's his real name, but he's
Okay.
he's probably just not gonna tell anyone his name.
Okay.
He's gonna figure it out along the way.
Awesome.
All right. How about you, Jay?
I think Ori is engineered, a biogenetic engineered thing. I think they're all grown and built in batches, and they have specific functions. So I think Ori's here because it has a role or a job to do, and it will become apparent to Ori as we progress. So Ori doesn't know at this point in time everything they're supposed to do, but I think it becomes apparent over time because this is what Ori was made to do. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah, I dig it. What do you think? What are you thinking about Ori's appearance? Like, is Ori humanoid?
I think Ori is. Yeah, I think Ori is humanoid. I think because other beings were going to be on this trip, Ori's made to be pleasing to the eye, so no one's spooked or uncomfortable with Ori's appearance. I think at the same time, Ori's skin color is like a slate blue. Again, because it's a thing. It's not. It was created. It's not. If there are souls, Ori doesn't have one because Ori was made. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
An Alpha station is in decline, right? It's an ancient station, or is it?
It's an ancient station adrift in the glow of a stellar nursery.
Right, so maybe Ori's among maybe the last batches of whatever these things are. Maybe there's not a whole lot of them being made anymore. But he's here because this is what he was made to do. Or it's made to do.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think you... oh, handy. Sorry, I looked away for chat for a little while. Jay, I think you can use any pronoun that you want.
So what I'm striving for here is if Ori's made, right, Ori doesn't reproduce. So Ori doesn't need a gender.
Yep.
So the flaw is mine because I'll keep bouncing back and forth because, but it'll click. I'll get it right.
No, I think it's totally. I mean, it's fine to work a little bit to get there. We're just making these characters up. Kamala, I've decided, is a like desert spider. I'm being influenced by these strands of hair that are like again like
Nice.
intriguing me and freaking me out. Kamala is this like desert sand spider. She is not bipedal but large. You know, she is like approximately human size-ish, but and then like desert spider, but now with these like horned goat people genes. So like now all these like these like her like the tips of her spider claws are now hooves. Or now, yeah, they're now hooves.
Man.
And like, so she clatters when she goes down halls. And like, she's really hairy. Like she normally had like normal spider hair, but now it's like fur on, like some spiders have fur anyway. So it's not that weird. But, and her head is, it like has the regular like spider mandible things, but it also has like some like goat eyes now. And instead of there being like, the eight, like, 6 have atrophied and only 2 are like still in use, and they're like now like goat eyes. So she's a mixture of the Minsk and the Zoran, the 2 different alien races. The Minsk being the desert spiders and the Zoran being the goat people. So there's that. I'll try to keep all that straight. I'll try to remember what the character is. How about Callie?
Yeah. So Callie is the gatekeeper of the Oriate Federation, and I think what that means is that she has been brought along because before we get to the center of the galaxy, there is some ancient gate that has an actual key that has been passed down among my people for millennia, and like I have an actual key. So I think Callie looks like super tall, like 6 or 7 feet tall, and like super skinny with please someone stop me if you don't like this, translucent skin so you can actually see like organs inside, and like super long fingers with very like the feeler pads of like, you know, lizards or whatever, like the sticky feeler pads.
Cool. Yeah. No, I think that's rad.
And I'm gonna pick a name for the species because I have a whole list of names.
Oh, you do? I didn't even. I should have looked.
Yeah. Hang on, I will.
Wow.
Link in the.
Okay, this is the amazing thing that is Twitch. Joseph just linked a link of a spider with a goat head.
That is awesome.
I wasn't thinking.
Oh my God.
I wasn't thinking like centaur. Like I was trying to get away from the whole like half body of one thing, half body of another, because of like drow and drider and like just not wanting to like. So I was thinking like if you were like genetically mixed, you would just start getting features rather than being like chopped in half and like grafted that way. But nevertheless, Joseph, that's pretty amazing. Yes, that image will now haunt me, and I will think Spider Goat forever.
Nice.
It's amazing. Yeah, so I think my species is the Ogan, Ogan.
Cool. Yeah. And cool. And you're very tall, translucent, humanoid?
Yeah, bipedal, 2 arms,
Okay.
2 legs.
Cool.
Yeah.
And is communication of things that have like vocal cords, is communication in this world just a default, or do we want to have to like deal with like language translation and things like that?
It's up to us. The game that I ran at Big Bad Con, we had 2 characters who spoke vocally but also communicated by like transmitting colors, which was kind of fun because one of them like could speak through colors purposefully, and the other one just sort of like was like a mood alien, so their colors reflected what they felt, so that provided a lot of chance for miscommunication, which was entertaining. So it's up to you guys. If we find, struggling through communication to be interesting, then we don't have universal translators and we'll have to figure it out.
I certainly think there could be some fun in that if not being the default scenario, like being the possible scenario that like we don't, our universal translators are not 100%. I'm not sure. Is language barrier something you think you guys feel like would be fun to play out, or should we skip over language and everybody speaks the same thing?
We could probably speak the same thing, but have like lost in translation type moments where we say one thing and it's just like, that doesn't make any sense to someone else.
Right. Things like idioms that are meaningless. Yeah. I'm imagining Kamala speaks, but when feeling strong emotions, she drops a ceramic cup on the ground. No, that's a different game. Her mandibles clatter and like they clack and clatter, and like that's an indication that she's like upset, and it might get in the way of speech, and it might so I would have fun, but like not always 100% being understood. I think that's rad.
I think Callista isn't, like, her species is primarily telepathic, and like over sort of evolution, they like, she can speak vocally, but she doesn't do it a lot, so it's like very stilted. And I think like when she's really having a hard time communicating, what she will want to do is like touch someone, which is like her, like if someone touches like hands with her, then she can like speak telepathically with them.
Oh, cool. I dig it. Can you speak telepathically with Ori?
The goat spider.
Well, no.
Ooh.
Can you speak telepathically with a constructed machine?
Yeah, I don't know, Ori. What do you think? What is interesting to you?
I think no. I think
I love it. I was hoping you would say no.
Yeah, I think because Ori's a thing, right? And so I think Ori is missing or doesn't have whatever it is, like the spark of life, whatever that is. Ori doesn't have that. Right? Maybe Ori can fake it, right? Like AI or things like that. But I think essentially
Okay.
That's the gap Ori never can get across.
I don't know if this is at all intended or even a direction we want to go down, but I'm totally getting Wizard of Oz vibes right now. Like Ori isn't alive and Nebo is cowardly and hiding. Like I don't know if this is like where we're wanting to go, but like we eat. I totally didn't hear you. Sorry.
You need to reskin Follow Magic to be Wizard of Oz.
Yes. Oh, that's the next reskin for Follow Magic. Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Like we're all missing a thing. I dig it. I think that's super cool. Neat. So we all know Nebo. Tell me, Banana. Tell me again. I apologize. I wrote down some notes, but I didn't get them. What is Nebo's physical appearance? And
he looks like a tree frog.
he looks like a tree
Just
frog.
yeah, just like a big tree frog.
Got it.
Like green.
Yeah, like
Cool.
Nice.
yeah, tree frog face and everything.
Awesome.
Awesome. So we have green, maybe spotted. We have slate blue machine. We have like desert sand, and we have translucent body. Joseph is just killing it with the picks here, and Kelly's sweet abs are.
That's a nice frog.
Oh my God.
Wow. Yeah. You have some good Google foo. User clone. Thank you. Some good stuff. He's so sassy. Neat. Well, I think we should do a first couple scenes and then take our first break after we like maybe each done a scene or something like that. If that's the next step, Jen.
Yep.
Does
For
that sound
sure.
right? Cool.
Mhm.
So remind us the procedural parts for either folks that
Yeah.
haven't played Follow Magic or that are like myself, haven't played in a while and don't remember off the top of their heads.
Sorry. So first of all, one of us will sort of place the liminal at the alpha station and sort of narrate what we see as we come into sort of the movie of this story. So the prompt is an ancient space station adrift in the glow of a stellar nursery. So like, what does that look like? What does the outside of the liminal spaceship look like? And then from there, after that's just like a quick little sort of color scene thing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be like in character role play. After that, each one of us will put our character token on that location. We will pick a prompt and set up a scene. It can have other characters in it, or it can be like a solo scene that you just sort of narrate. And then we will go from there.
Awesome. Does anyone want to jump on the liminal scene? I have an idea, but I'm not married to it by any stretch. Jen is muting herself while she coughs.
I know. I'm trying to mute myself while I cough because I'm coughing a lot.
This is very thoughtful. I just want everyone on the stream to appreciate Jen is not coughing into your ear right now. If she was me, if I were Jen, I would totally.
No, it's because of the podcast, and like every time I cough on the podcast, it's something that Todd has to edit out. So I feel bad. So I'm like, I would just mute myself. Nobody wants to hear me coughing.
Oh, still very thoughtful. All right, I'm gonna do the liminal scene then. No one else jumped on it. So, all right. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. I'm clicking on Twitch. That doesn't work. I need to get to be in Roll20. Okay. I'm trying to put the liminal on, show the liminals at Alpha Station. That's good enough. So the Stellar Nursery is a string of luminescent beings, luminescent orbs, moons that have been moons that have somehow spread in a like half circle around Alpha Station, and the gravitational somehow works that they stay in sync as they orbit around, as they form this semicircle around Alpha Station. Each of them glow with not quite a rainbow different color, but like a slightly different color. So it's, since we have these images on here, I'm thinking these like purples and pinks that they glow with, and we have the sense that it used to be a whole full circle, but the other moons have died out, and as the circle like comes to an end, we see that the color is like less and less. Each moon has less and less color until like the last one that still glows is just like very, very faint, as they're sort of burning out slowly, or the light of Alpha Station is burning out. And the station itself is this circular orbital that has all these other ships docked at it, but like the moons, it's in a state of decay, and that's primarily evidenced by the fact that it looks kind of like an old boatyard where like old ships have just been like left to die. Like there's all these ships parked there that are just like forgotten about and abandoned, and people have where this once was an area of high traffic, it's now just like a junkyard, and among them is like hiding among them, honestly, because of its camouflage nature, like we can barely see like the shimmer of like a giant ship, of a giant crystalline ship that kind of like fits in the floating mass of all these junker ships, and only because we kind of know to look at it, and because the camera does that thing where you get that like the thing is invisible but the viewer can see it. We see the little image of it and realize that it's just it's just sort of cloaked and camouflaged in to look like the ship's behind it, but we see the jutting edges of the crystalline liminal as the camera kind of zooms in to Alpha Station. There's my intro.
Very cool.
So now I think someone picks a character and has one of these scenes.
Yeah.
Well, Jen, you know how to do it, so why don't you?
I know.
Kick
I
one
know.
off?
Yeah. Okay. I think that which one do I want to do? This is great internet TV, by the way. Me just sitting here staring at my screen thinking.
Well, so I mean, folks are looking at the thing, but what you would pick is one of these scenes, right? Yes. Telemetry, why you serve the liminal, the observatory, etc. And what are the little plus signs next to beautiful, eminent, stubborn, etc.? What do those mean?
Those are tags. And so if I set my scene here, at the end of my scene, I can give one of those tags to myself or one of the other characters. And then later on, if somebody's doing a scene where they have to roll the dice, if they use that tag in the fiction, they can add one to their roll.
Cool. On Twitch right now, we're like showing the dice results, but I realize that that's like probably not all that important.
Yeah, we're almost definitely not going to roll them this session. I shouldn't even say almost. We're definitely not rolling them this session.
All right.
So yeah, if you want the screen real estate, you probably can turn that off.
Yeah, it's tricky enough to adjust that I'll do it.
Yeah, fair.
Another time, but good to know.
Okay, so I think that I am going to pick telemetry, which is why you serve the liminal. And so I think what we see is the sort of inside of the spaceship is very it's all like straight lines and smooth and metal and glass, I think, and crystals, very like sort of futury.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also like fairly echoey, which is sort of annoying. I think it's annoying, my character. So yeah, it says telemetry, but I'm gonna cheat a little bit and say that I want to set my scene in a sort of communal area with at least one more player character. Although I don't know if anyone wants to volunteer.
I'll volunteer.
Yeah, I was to say I absolutely think that that Ori should just be there. Like,
Awesome. Okay. All right. So yeah. So this is let's just set it in telemetry. That's fine. So there's an area of the ship that's got a bunch of sort of rectangular-ish crystals that have a bunch of like video feeds or displays or dials or whatever. And yeah, Ori is in there for whatever reason, and I come sort of like clomping in because I'm still getting used to the noise that this spaceship makes, and I kind of like come in a way that you come into a room that you think you're alone in, because I can't hear anybody in here, and so obviously there's nobody in here, and hello.
I think Ori is bringing things or moving things about.
Oh, cool.
The ship, right. So I think there are things that still aren't in place. So they're like big crystal pieces he's moving, putting in place.
Mhm.
Maybe there's supplies and things like that he's moving about and setting in the ship. So when you say hello, Ori assumes you must be talking to someone else, or and continues to move about. Doing the chores.
Yeah, so like I'll sort of tentatively come behind you and put a hand on like your shoulder, because I think you can't hear me.
nice.
Yeah, it is nice. Ori says, hey, well, so he turns and he faces you, and he'll say, I am Ori.
And I'm kind of like looking at you, like trying to figure something out about you. And
Right,
I'm like rudely staring. Like it's just curiosity. Like there's not any judgment on my face, but like I'm clearly trying to figure something out about you. And I have not acknowledged your greeting yet. Takes me like.
Can I be of assistance?
What are you? You're an Ori?
I am the Ori. I am a custodian. I serve the ship.
Why can't I hear you? Why don't you have thoughts? She's stumbling over words, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
I have thoughts. I have many thoughts. I have many thoughts per second, thousands of thoughts per second. I don't understand the question.
She's very like clearly stumbling with words, and I think at one point she actually like pulls out like a phone or a tablet or something, right? And is like really trying to find language for this.
Google, help me.
That's right. Help me, Google.
And then she settles on this word and she says basically like telepathic. I can't hear you telepathically.
Ori kind of shuts down. He pulls back a little bit, and then he says, "Fuck, that is not real."
What do you mean?
What is your function here? I serve the ship. What do you do?
I am the gatekeeper.
And he's changing the subject.
Yeah.
Gatekeeper. What does a gatekeeper do?
My people have passed the key down to unlock the birthplace of ancient technology. We've held it for millennia. And she actually holds up a key, and the key that she holds up is the exact same key as the one in the Fifth Element, because I love that key so much.
Yes.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Ori points at that. That is real. He turns to pick up another piece of crystal and puts it into the socket, twists it.
And I kind of like fish mouth, like opening my mouth like I'm gonna say something, and then close it and open it again, and then I think just scene. I think we just end it there.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, you had to establish why you serve the liminal.
Yep.
And cool. I would like to have a scene with Nevo. I'd like to have a scene finding you on the in the observatory. Would that be an okay place to find Nevo? All right. So the observatory says how you got here, and like we kind of see. I think there's a lot of people like loading things on. It's like they're loading supplies and they're loading, you know, just in the same way that we saw Ori like. Getting the ship ready, getting the liminal ready to go. These people bring in a like a big crate, and it's on like a forklift, and they have these like space crowbars, and they like crack it open, and all the sand pours out, and they step back, like not sure what's gonna happen, and from out of the sand comes Kamala. Like first you see like some horns point up out of it, and then she scuttles out, and her hoof claws like clatter a little bit. Like when it echoes, like it makes quite a bit of noise when she comes out. And the people that dropped her off just like bolt. They're like, we don't want no part of this. And she kind of sniffs around and like gets her bearing. You're in the observatory, and we can see that like we can see these giant windows of clear crystal that like look out into Alpha Station and the moons. And she's kind of like just been deposited in the observatory by people who told that was her job, and she's like clicking, and then realizes that when she clicks on the crystal, it vibrates, and she could feel the vibration, and that's when she's like clicks it, like she clacks one of her feet against the ground, and like realizes somebody else is there. Like there's another presence in the area, if that's okay with you, Banana.
I think as this is happening, so Nebo is trying to sneak onto the ship, and he had this whole plan of trying to get in, but somehow there was like this one door that was open and no one else was there, so he just crawls into this little crawl space, and he's like going through these vents, like these crystal vents, and just suddenly pops out a vent and ends up in the observatory, and it's just like, why is there no one here? I thought this ship would be full. And then sees you like way in the corner and panics a little and tries to leave the room.
Nice. I think as you're like backing up, that's right when Kamala's head like pops up and locks eyes with you, so that it like forces us to interact for a moment. And she looks, and she's like, first she just sort of clatters her mandibles, and then she says, "Oh, they've made you come as well." And she kind of clatters up to get closer to you, but not like menacingly, like she's sort of exploring, like she thinks you've been forced here, like her.
So Nevo's just like, I work here. What are you doing here?
The scientists at Echo Station 1, designation rank Alpha 54 and above, agreed that I would serve this vessel because of various contagions that we might encounter along the journey. And she kind of looks down like ashamed. She's like, and my biological immunity to them. And it's like really unsatisfied. Like she's really like disappointed that like, or not disappointed. Like she feels very like kind of embarrassed by this, like
Oh no.
this reason. But
I think,
and you, why did they make you come? Did they force you to be on this ship?
I am just a little bit lost. I am the director of accounting, and I'm just trying to find my space.
Oh, well, all the manifests appear to be here on these other crates of supplies that they left here.
Oh, that's great. I'm just gonna grab these and I'm gonna walk away. And I'm trying to like find a door or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's tons of them. Like I don't think we're locked in here at all. Kamala has like no reason to second guess you, so she completely is like, you know, you not knowing the layout of the ship does not strike her as you not being a valid accountant. Like this is probably your first trip on this ship, but you're still an accountant. So she, as you're leaving, she's like, if you wanted to call me by a designation besides my rank on Echo Station, I'm Kamala, by the way. She kind of says as you're walking out, hoping that you'll hear her name rather than just see her like designation on the manifest.
I think Nebo just stops there at the doorway and just feels kind of bad and looks around and is just like, "Do you want to come with me?"
Nice. Like that's great.
And then, yeah.
Cutscene. Awesome. I'm gonna give Nebo the trait eminent.
Nice.
At the end of this, we give away beautiful, eminent, or stubborn, and I think you have established yourself, at least in Kamala's eyes, as being an important figure of authority on this ship. So yeah, we have character sheets if you want them. In Roll20, if you click on the little the second icon, the journal icon, it just has.
Oh yay! Look at that.
Yeah, it just says, you know, Banana's character, Jay's character, because I didn't know what her character should be named. But if you click on that, it does have a space for putting name, role, homeworld, and under notes, you can put in that trait in case we need it later. Cool. So I think it's either Ori or Nevo's scenes.
I'll go.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm thinking Ori's in the laboratory.
Seems like a place to be.
I think, again, Ori's moving stuff, getting everything in place. There's probably cargo that belongs to the laboratory, so he's dropping stuff off in there. There's technology in the laboratory, but it's old. Not old, it's old design. I think ancient design. Some of it sparks a memory, and he takes some time to look it over, run hands across it.
Is it like metallic like Ori, or is it crystalline like the liminal?
I think it's crystalline. I think Ori is newer, cheaper, different, later technology. I think the crystalline stuff is ancient, older. But Ori recognizes the significance of it, that there's a lineage there. So I think there's some recognition happening with Ori as he looks over the stuff that's in the laboratory. I think there's maybe a port or a cable that comes out of his arm, and he makes a connection with some of the crystal ports. Then maybe we see a series of flashes as he's going through records that's in the data. There's an earlier version of Alpha Station where the moons are there. They haven't all been destroyed or gone away. The Stellar Nursery is full. There are other ships and vessels moving throughout that system. It seems vibrant. There is, in the center of all that activity, a smaller crystalline ship that looks very reminiscent of the Liminal, but smaller, maybe younger. So he's going through all those images and all that data. And then his other hand comes up to his face, and he's kind of feeling around his eyes, but there's nothing there. And then the cord kind of retracts back into his arm, and he goes back to his job. But he's got kind of a scowl on his face.
Nice. So he can clearly emote. Like, it's clear that we could see his face is like is dexterous enough or like adjustable enough. Like we can see clear motions. Awesome.
Yes. And that's the scene.
Cool. All right, Nevo, I think you're up for scene.
I think before I got to Kamala, as I was like going through all the vents and things, I maybe got to the habitat. Like I looked down and I saw this, it's sort of like this contained area of swamp. So it's like almost a perfect circle of just like swampland. And there's like smoke coming out of it, slowly seeping through. And when you look under, there's like these like fish that are just popping their heads up every so often. And those are just like the fish that happen to live there, and they somehow they like sustain the plant life that's also in that area. And I'm thinking that's sort of like how that's how the liminal like works. Like they sort of coexist with one another for the liminal to like actually work.
Oh, cool. So this is like the energy source or some like
kind of, yeah.
part of the liminal is this ecosystem?
Yeah.
Very cool. I like it. Is there anything that you want to do there, or was that scene?
Yeah, I was just thinking. I was just like passing by it, just like looking down and then going through it, not actually doing anything there.
Nice. Since Nevo's a tree frog, is that like close-ish to Nevo's natural habitat? I mean, is that like I don't know. I don't want to like assume, but
I want to say that like that's the total opposite of what Nevo likes or is used to. I'm thinking like on his home planet, it's all like big buildings and cement everywhere.
I dig it. Super cool. Awesome. All right. Well, so we've each done a scene, and I think that's a good time for us to take our break and then come back and we'll do some more. So thanks everybody who is on the feed. We like have people watching us. This is
we
cool.
do.
I hope y'all are having a good time. And we'll be back in 6 minutes or so. So thanks again for just hanging out with us.